G'day everyone and welcome to my channel. Feels like it's been a while, and it has been. It's one of those things of, um, I've just been exhausted, honestly, between work and life. Yeah, it's one of those things. But I, as always, have been creating in the background. And one of my recent things is I came up with the design using what we call them manila folders here in Australia, but file folders, document folders, whatever they're called in your neck of the woods. That is what I've used to create this. Now it's kind of like a TN Traveler's Notebook style folio, but a little bit on a bigger scale. I wanted to make use of the larger designs that come a lot with your design papers, and in this case the Stamperia Seaworld is what I used for this one, and it ends up measuring 6 by 11. I wanted it that way so that you could use some long papers in there, and you'll see what I mean when we get into it as we go. So I've got it held together with an elastic connection. I don't know what these called, elastic loopy thing. That's my technical term for the elastic loopy thing. I've got it held together with that, and yeah, I'll show you how that gets put in. And because I'm going to do a tutorial following this on this notebook folio. Because it's been requested. Now I have taken use again of the designs to create little tuck spots and things where possible, and yeah, so that's what's happening with this one, and we are going to go on into the inside. Okay, so when we open it up, it looks like this. Okay, so typical folio style, so it's going to keep folding out. The main base is made out of one manila folder, and then on from there. So this is your first little flap, and I've created little tuck spot pockets all the way along in different manners to store some ephemera and tags and journaling spots. I have used the manila folders to then back other bits of ephemera, so that obviously maximising the ability to journal in. So we've got some more little pockets here on the side here. Again here, I've just got it turned around the other way so that it looks good from this angle, if that makes sense. And then along here we've got some little pockets as well. So more places to store things as we go through. And then we're on to the next part. So the next part is an additional little fold in, and I've got some pockets here. Here's some little pieces back for extra journaling. Lots more room in there. They're gusseted pockets, so there's plenty of room to add more. And then over here I've taken use of the design again, and I've created little tuck spots into our little octopus. So there's some little side tucks and then a little up tuck here. Then this opens out and we have more pockets here. So I've made slot pockets here, and then some extra large wide gusseted pockets here that would hold documents. So that would go there, and this one goes all the way down. So you can see I've got a long tag in that one, and it will easily go all the way down and hold some of your wider documents. So I've designed that so that it easily hold, like folded up, letters and things like that. Now you'll see in here that there are two journals. So TN style journals, and I've only made them with a little bit of paper inside because I have designed them so that they are held in with elastic again, so that you can add more as you collect things on your travels or around or whatever it may be. So it's held in with some elastic. So I didn't want to overfill this. I just wanted it to be able to be utilised, and you can continue to tuck in things and papers and all of that kind of stuff from your journey as you go. But as you can see, I have put in some pieces of different papers. I'm just going to turn down my overhead light because I feel like the exposure is a little bit high. So that should be a little bit better so you can see. It just doesn't like the whiteness of some of this paper. So that is that. So it continues through. And this one is the same. I have made it as a faux leather cover, and this has been made out of wrapping paper. So I have made that with that, and I have sealed it so it has that old leather look to it, and distressed it. Yep. And they just slide back into this, like that. And there's two of them. Alright, this one's pretty much exactly the same as that one, except I think it's got a different end paper in there. That's about it. Alright, then the back has also been cut into depending on, I guess, the design of the paper. So we've got some hidden tuck spots that take advantage of how the paper design was. So they go into there. And then this one here is held together with elastic, so it's quite versatile, and you could undo the elastic. But I have just slipped in some cut aparts from the paper collection, and you could slip in a whole lot of other documents in there as well, or you could undo it, whatever you wanted to do. And then you can, this also, if you looked in underneath here, you would see the elastic connection for the holder, but that's hidden up underneath there, so that makes it nice and easy. Alright, and then this is the back, obviously with that elastic holder. Next time I'd probably just give a little bit more elastic, just because to take into account how much it's going to grow as you add things. But that is the walkthrough of this folio that I've come up with. Now I'm going to have a tutorial that follows this of how we get it done. But what I'm going to show you is what I'm going to use for it. So I'm going to use, these are the manila, what we call manila folders here, and these are foolscap size, which I think would be like maybe legal, so I don't know what they would be in other places of the world, but it's 12, so 14 inches long by 9.5 inches wide is what mine are. But it doesn't really matter, you can adapt it and use it to whatever kind of folders you have, whatever colour you've got. I just, as a teacher, I have a lot of these. Now, generally, the ones that I use have, like student names and all on it that I cover up and things like that, so I try to reuse. But obviously, for the purpose of privacy, I'm not going to do that on camera, so these are blank ones that I have. I also have lots of these ones, and I pick them up whenever I see them at the op shops anyway. So they are what we're going to use, and I will show you how I convert them into looking like that file folder look. So how I give them tabs and indents over here. So how do I give them that look so that they look more like the file folder kind of appearance. So I use 3 of them. I am going to be using some inks to get the rust effect that I have around. I should stop doing this up. So all of this rust effect that I have going on around, I've used some different inks. So the colours that I will be using will be Vintage Photo Oxide, Evergreen Bow Oxide, Rusty Hinge Oxide, I might use a little bit. I don't have. I've got all of the distressed oxides except for salvage patina. I don't have it, and the supplier I get all these from doesn't have it either. But I do have it in the refiller. Go figure. So I've got the salvage patina ink, and but when I kind of was comparing the colours of the oxide compared of the salvage patina to the evergreen bow, the evergreen bow actually matches the Stamperia version. Just, they both have components within it, so one or the other would work. Does that make sense? Like, you don't need both. So I was just giving you the two different options depending on which ones you have, but I found that they both would kind of fit in with that. So I will be using them. I might go in with a little bit of walnut stain, but they are the inks that I'm going to use. And then the papers that I'm going to use for this one. So let's get them out. And I will show you the base papers. So the base papers I'm going to use for this one, I was hoping to use the new Stamperia Songs of the Sea, but it just hasn't arrived yet. So I ordered it last week, but it hasn't arrived, so I don't know whether the place that I bought it from has it advertised but actually doesn't have it yet, and I've paid for it and I'm cranky. But yeah, it hasn't arrived. So I'm going to go in and use Clockwise. It's a collection I've had for a while. It's an older collection, and these are the papers, but basically what I wanted was ones that have some of these large kind of designs so that we can make use of it to put in all those little hidden tuck spots and so forth. And it still works with that rusted vintage vibe, the grungy vibe. So these are the kind of papers I'm going to work with. You can tell it's an older piece because they don't have like cut aparts and stuff in the inside front cover and back cover like the new ones do. But that's okay because I've got an alternative for all of that. So yeah, so these are the papers I'm going to pull from. I'm just showing you off, going through so you know. And then this is the last one of the Stamperia papers. And then I've gone through my collection and just found some papers that might be used to, if I need to kind of come in and do something with it for ephemera or whatever. But I've got some Kaiser Craft ones that I just have in my stash. I've got that. I've got that. I actually like the back of this, which is why I've got that one there. And then some of these, I like the colours that are all that go with it. So I have them that I might use. What else have I got in the little collection of goodies over here? I do have a couple of wheels, like cog wheels, that large ones that were from Kaiser Craft as well, from Barbershop collection. Oh, that concerns me if a barber's coming at me with that. But I thought, never know, I might use that. I have a large clock die, which I also believe is Kaiser Craft, but I'm not too sure. But I thought might come in with that. So usually what happens is I'll collect a few things and see where it takes me. I do have some little metal clock elements there, and then I've got this block by Studio Light, which is Vintage Treasures, and I might use some stuff from there as well, but more of the cut apart stuff just for embellishments and things like that, so it seems to fit in quite well with the papers, so I might use that. Who knows? Like I said, it'll just be wherever the mood does take thee, I have some stamps. So I've got a clock, Tim Holt Stampers Anonymous one, which is Inventor 1 CMS 340. But it's basically got the clock mechanism component there. And then I've got I've got a background clock one, and some keys and locks. And then I've got, you know, some different cog dies and whatever. I've got a whole little bunch of whateverness that it might come into. Basically, raise your stash and make it work with whatever you have. I'm just going to show you kind of how I go about the process and what I do when I'm coming together to plan a project. So that is the rundown. Oh my gosh, words. You can tell I haven't filmed in a while. Hey? That is the rundown of what I'm going to do in the tutorial. So I'll put it out in stages. The first one will be the different cuts of the manila folder that's needed, and ink it up, and then we'll get into the construction and the decorating component. Excellent. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that little walkthrough, flip through, whatever floats your boat when you talk about what it is. And I will hopefully see you join me for the tutorial. Excellent. As always, remember, be kind, be strong, be aware, and I'll see you later. Bye.